All right, guys, fire away.
How's the overall health of some of the guys that were banged up?
It's better than it was a few days ago for sure, and it's everybody in the league is going to deal with the same thing, and certainly we are too, and so you're just scrapping away at every single second where you can to try and be as healthy as you can, but everybody's going to play hurt and play with injured guys, and so we're doing better. I'm really grateful for this week because it at least helps us make some progress.
When you have a week like this, with extra time to prepare, do you spend any more time on the opponent than you would maybe for Alabama with only 2 days, or is most of that extra time spent on yourself?
We do, you just end up doing it because you just end up paying attention a little bit more, but it also gives you time. It gives you time, like we're doing some deep dive stuff, and so it's both. You kind of consume the day with all the nonsense that we do.
Mark, I know you don't want to spill all the secrets when it comes to fouling and in the way that you guys are trying to prevent that in the free throw disparity, but just in terms of what that process has looked like this week, has it been film review, implementation, and just how do you feel like your players are kind of moving in that process of getting that free throw line a bit more balanced in your favor?
It's all of the above, really. Kind of really deep dives into what the numbers are telling us and what the correlation is with winning. There's some numbers that are concerning to us. Clearly the free throw rate is a real problem for us right now. 2-point field goal percentage is a real problem for us. Rim shot percentage is a real problem for us. Rim shot selection is actually pretty good for us, but it's offset because we're fouling, right? And so you have those numbers of base, and then it's figuring out how to do it a little bit better, and so certainly our guys' focus will be good, and it'll be this is not, you don't wave a magic wand and all of a sudden fix some of this, but we're going to make progress. We'll make progress throughout the season, and we're excited about it. I think we feel like we have some pretty clear spaces to attack right now, some really clear, specific words that we're using and themes that we're chasing, and I think we'll get better. Our guys have done that. Our guys are pretty good at getting better, and they're good at it.
How would you evaluate Amari's, ability as a scorer so far this season, and how can this maybe newfound use of his physicality that you've talked about, how can that maybe help him in different areas?
I think he's been a difference maker for us in so many ways. He's come up with really big, timely buckets, really big, timely N1s. Clearly his ability to kind of be a decision maker has been really good, and it's been getting better with some setbacks here and there. But he's an incredibly physical player. He's gotten better and better on the glass. His defensive rebound percentage has been elite all year long. It's really incredible. And he's finding ways to move more bodies right now. So, all of that's incredibly important. And us being more diligent. He's actually not one of our top rim fouling guys, but his ability to kind of take up space and demand space is really important. What we're trying to do.
Mark, how's the ball screen defense? How would you grade that over the last several weeks? And also, what's kind of your overall philosophy with that in terms of drop coverage, hedging, blitzing, things like that? Is that personnel dependent, opponent dependent, things like that?
It's better than it was against Ohio State, so that's positive. As a general philosophy, what we'd like to do is have people take mid-range twos, right? That's what all the numbers say, and that's where you're trying to live. And so, our mainstay is kind of a down weak package. That's what we do. We'll have a bunch of V-back switching in there and some predetermined switching, and we'll punch some blitzes in, and from time to time. Depending on if it's a so a lot of times there's a horn set that's not attacking, where we'll just be a handle by ourselves that'll be really scout dependent. and you know, sometimes we'll pre-switch things or try and switch the switch, you know, after the fact. And so there's just so many ways that you're trying to kind of manage ball screens, and then trying to do it like in live play as situations arise. Sometimes is like, that's the beautiful challenge, right? Can you do it without a timeout? Can you make an adjustment on the fly? Can you do it personnel wise? So it's a major component of the game. It's something that everybody wrestles with and everybody's trying to get better at. You know, for example, you know, you could be in the bottom 40% in the country at guarding a pick and roll ball handler in terms of his points per possession, but your volume could be really high. And since it's a low efficiency, you know, you could be at the bottom 40 of the country, but with a really high volume. But since it's a low efficiency play type, your overall defense could actually be way more efficient, even though in that, because you're forcing people to kind of do something that's less efficient, even though they're doing it a lot and they're doing it a little more efficient than they do it against other teams. As a whole, it affects your defense in a real way. And so it's all the sliding scale stuff, right? So it keeps the game interesting. It's really fun, and we enjoy playing with it.
Mark, you're playing a Vanderbilt team that's got 11 players, I think, from the transfer portal, and they've obviously had success. You've got a whole new team. You've had a lot of success. Louisville up the road, whole new team. They're having success. I think the consensus in the past was you can't do that. You can't start over with a whole new team and have success. Why do you think it's changed this year, or is it specific to your three teams, or is there anything behind that?
Well, I think it's like everything. You know, we probably have some availability bias and some recency bias, right? I think I don't know. I do think there are 9 teams maybe that have 0 returning minutes. There's 9 or 10 or 8, something like that. I actually haven't been tracking all those teams, but it'd be an interesting study. It's pretty easy to do. Just jump to Ken Palm and jump to those 9 teams at the bottom list with 0%, and to kind of look and see what their success rate is. I don't know. I haven't jumped into a deep study on that, but I do think that it's something that everybody is going to pay more and more attention about a full roster reconstruction, because you know, even with good teams, you'll have turnover, and on any given year is you know, certainly in the current environment, you could end up with a full rebuild, and you know, it comes with all the challenges and possibilities that we can imagine, and so that part is just interesting. So I don't know. Certainly, Vandy's done an unbelievable job. I mean, you know, what an unbelievable job that staff has done on constructing this team and putting together pieces that fit and having guys fully buy in, and they're playing incredibly hard, and they have some real joy and moxie and toughness in their game, and you know, as a full reconstruct, that's really impressive.
Along those lines, obviously, I'm sure you don't want to start from scratch every single season. How much conscious energy do you and your coaching staff spend on, like, recruiting the guys you have that could maybe come back next season, or is that just kind of a natural offshoot of the program you want to build?
I would hope that's a natural offshoot. Is what I would hope. I would hope, you know, that continuity matters also, right? I mean, it all matters. And I think continuity gives you an opportunity to you know, continuity gives you an opportunity to kind of push a little farther down the road, to like go a little deeper with how you play and what you do, and have a little bit longer frame of reference, and so I love coaching guys multiple years. You get to really explore some space. But no, and hopefully that is a natural consequence of running the program great. There's just, you know, there's just so many anomalies, right? It's just like, if you think about why someone chooses a school or chooses to stay at a school or chooses to leave a school, there are like 10 million different reasons that could all be in play. And so it's more of like just a kind of a trend and a vibe and an overall thing. It's the one beautiful thing about this game is you have really small rosters and you're dealing with really unique individuals, and so every story is different. That's what makes it fun, actually. But yes, I think retention is a win. If you have guys that feel the program and want to stay and want to grow, I think that's a real win. And but everybody's kind of working on their own criteria.
I think their tallest player is only 6'9". That obviously lets them play small really quick. What are the challenges of just playing against a team that plays small?
Well, they start with 5 guys on the floor that really shoot it, and they're really, really mobile. And so they force you to guard a lot of space. So all those challenges come with it, but they're also really physical on the glass. I mean, one of the top rebounders in the league is their undersized starting center, right? 99 is he's an unbelievable. He's a second hit guy. So a lot of times, you have that first impact of hit on the glass offensively or defensively, and then it's a race to the ball. Where his second hit, he's creating more space. He's actually not racing to the ball. He's trying to create more space where the ball can come to him. It's really effective. He's got a real knack for it. He's really talented. But that's the biggest thing is it gives them an opportunity to switch a ton when they need switches. It gives them an opportunity to force you to guard a lot of space on the floor. And they play with great pace. They're almost 21% of their possessions are in transition. They're a high turnover team, and so while their size could pose some problems, it certainly hasn't done it with their ability to play with pace, to earn space on the floor, and to turn you over. They do a great job. I think they're leading the country now in turnovers turned into points. So they're really effective at doing that.
Mark, I thought Brandon obviously he had a good game, but I thought his second half offensively was pretty exceptional. I thought, I was just going back and looking at the footage, I thought he made really good decisions at the top of the key.
Yeah.
He even just a little handoff, like he was calm and obviously 0 turnovers. I thought his 2-man game with Vermont was really good.
Yeah.
A couple buckets generated there, and then the give and go of Vermont finding for the dunk. And
Yeah.
there was one where Kobe, he ran a pick and roll with Kobe, I think, but he was really calm for the ball,
Yeah.
but Sears kind of had a good denial and
Yeah.
ended up, swinging it. So obviously your best offense isn't just dumping it down to Brandon, but I feel like there might be something there. Are you seeing that? Is there
Yeah.
something that-
I've been really impressed with what BG turns down. Like his turn down decision making is unbelievable. He loves to track the late pass. He loves it. He fell in love with it early in the season, and so he loves to track it. But he's really good at turning it down. Looking back at the Alabama game, I wish I had play called the middle of the lane more. I wish I'd spent way more time high ball screen stuff. We were getting good action with all of our flow and stack action. I do think there was space the way they had chosen to guard to kind of manipulate the middle of the floor a little bit better, and I thought BG was really good at that. I thought he was really good as a roller, and I thought Lamont was unbelievable playing off 2 feet, and I just think that's a place we should have milked. With all that said, we also had some defensive issues where we needed to get a little bit better, but I think he's playing great basketball, so I'm really proud of him.
Are you sensing the same with Amari in the pick and roll game? I feel like there wasn't as much generated in the second half when I was watching.
Yeah. So and Amari didn't get a ton of space in high ball screen, middle ball screen actions. I do think that
There was one that was really good at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he got hit, but I thought he would have went and grabbed it with 2 hands, but he kind of only went with one hand, kind of tipped it, and it was a missed bucket.
It's a 2-hand. We're a 2-hand catch team. That's really important to us. It's something we talk about: catch first, catch first, catch first. And then a lot of times you can, you get tricked because you think you have a tough play at the rim, but you can go win a catch, and we're gonna have better plays at the end of it. Something that all of our guys work on all the time. And so, those 2 guys in tandem, man, they really, I think, I don't know if we're 1 or 2, but, we're the first or second best offensive team in the country, and those guys carry a major load for us on the offensive end. We're the best offensive team in the country because of them in large part. And so I'm really proud of what those guys are doing. It's pretty great.
Mark, are you a big believer in Memorial Magic, Vandy, Crazy Gym, bench configuration? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I love that gym just because I have one great memory of we were playing Vandy in a tough game, and we're racing down the floor in the second half. We're kind of making a run. It's got some separation, and I can't remember if it was Anthony or TD. Someone kind of hit me with a trail pass. We're in transition. They got 2 feet of the baseline and kind of threw it over their shoulder. And I ran in and dunked it. If I remember correctly, I barely got it over the rim and got fouled. And then Coach P was standing right there, and so I got to go chest bump him. And I don't think Coach was super happy about that, but I've always loved the configuration of the gym since that moment. I think it's a great venue. I think it's every venue in this deal is great. It's a little bit of a different vibe for our guys being on the baseline, and I think point guards love it because they can't ever hear what the coach is saying, and so they don't have to pay attention. But I think they're letting us roam the sideline all the way to hash now. So, but I do think it's a great venue, and right now the way they're playing, it's a great gym, and I'm sure it'll be sold out like all gyms, and they got some good juice in there, so it should be really fun. Like, you want to play in great places, and I think it's a great place.
Do you have a favorite SEC road venue from when you were a player, whether it be the way the fans acted or the configuration, like you said, or just the overall experience?
Yeah, man, all the venues are so good. And I have distinct memories. I haven't been in a lot of these venues since I played. And I have distinct memories from almost each one. And I actually don't know, right now as I'm thinking about them, like, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to talk about them because I could get in trouble if I say some of these things. But, these are great venues and they're incredible fan bases. I'll never forget, going to Arkansas. Arkansas, when us were the 2 top teams in the country when I was playing here. And I'll never forget going to Arkansas, and we pulled up to Bud Walton, and the bus couldn't go down the slope to get into the tunnel because it was snowy. It snowed, like, inexplicably, kind of like right now. And then all the students were out waiting around the outdoor concourse waiting to get in, and so Coach stood up in the bus, and you guys have probably heard this story. And I didn't know what he was going to say. He's like, listen, when we get out of this bus, I'm pretty sure that you're going to get pelted with a bunch of snowballs, and I fully expect you to return fire. And so we went sliding down the ramp, hurling snowballs back and forth with the Arkansas fans, like great moments like that. I probably have a moment like that with every one of these venues. It's a really great league, and it's better than it's ever been. It's incredible right now, and these venues make it really special.
Mark, going back to Brandon, the fact, I know he's still work in progress shooting threes, but the guy who didn't shoot any last year, to be comfortable enough to let him fly, hit a couple, just what's that say about the progress he's made so quickly in your system?
Ton of credit to him, ton of credit to Mikael McLean, who's working with him every day, and he's going to be a big-time shooter. Like, I'm telling you, it's in his future. Like, I think we felt that way since the summer. He's got a poise and a presentness about him, fearlessness about him when he shoots the ball, and he's got really terrific touch, and he gets great rotation. His balance, he's patient enough to make sure that his balance is solid every single time. He's got all the ingredients of. You see guys a lot. I've seen these guys a ton that are kind of in this big space that just it hasn't been a part of their game, but they're like built to do it. And he's going to shoot the ball better and better and better and better. But he's got a real future. Sometime down the road, 5 years from now, we're going to look at him in the league, and he's going to be like Big Shot Bob. He's going to be one of those guys that just makes shots, and he's going to be known at that, and that's going to be the scout. And I hope that starts on Saturday, but maybe it'll be a couple weeks. But he's in progress of going there, and so it's going to be fun to see. It's going to be fun to watch because he is just a no-brainer, man. That dude's going to make shots as he grows. It's pretty fun.
We know the SEC is going to be tough on the road this year, but how do you feel like your guys have handled, that Kentucky effect of walking in and everybody being on them, and just putting that aside and focusing on what's the task at hand?
Well, I think the guys know it better now, right? They know it, and And it's like an added bonus. It's like when you come to Kentucky, you know there's so many great things, and then every day there's something else great that you get from coming here. It's really true. It's true as coach and coaching staff also. It just gets better and better every day, right? And so I think our guys, that's one of the things we're like, wow, I knew this was going to be great, but this is incredible. This is so great. And so I think our guys right now they just can't wait to get back out on the road and go experience another insane environment and find a way to win. I think I think that group's built this way. We really love it, and it's a gift. It's one of the gifts about being able to play here is that it doesn't matter where you go. It's like the greatest environment ever, and that's what you want. So we're really blessed to have it. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.